right, Pickle. On this Friday, it's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score on award-winning Hondas like the rugged and reliable 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Visit your NTX Honda dealers today or ntxhondadealers.com to learn more.
I want to be very clear. I did the same thing that I do when we talk about our friends at Chicken Express. When I go, I do not want to eat a Honda. Okay?
No,
I want to be clear.
but you want to drive a Honda to go get your Chicken Express.
I want to. You want to talk about a combo platter
Yeah.
of high society.
That's the, oh gosh, what did we get down in the RGV? The Bontana platter.
The Botana platter?
Yeah.
If I were to drive a Honda Ridgeline to go get a Botana platter.
Correct.
Very good. It's Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. We ask for your questions on social media. We'll usually ask on Wednesday for your questions, and we've pulled the best ones for your edification. So, Pickle, what questions do we got from the people?
Looking at 3A Division 1, how do you think Franklin manages to stay on top?
You do love 3A Division 1.
3A Division 1 is my bread and butter.
3A Division 1 is your jam.
Go Lano.
Go Lano. Well, first of all, let's talk a little bit about what Franklin did in Week 1, which was I don't want to say dicey, but Woodville had them down at half.
Yeah.
And I think Woodville's a decent team, but that was certainly I think should be a wake-up call. Now, look, they have got the finest player in they've got the longest winning streak in the state. They've won 33 in a row now. And this week, who do they play? I hadn't heard about their game, which makes me think they're going to be big favorites. They play Mejia, and they should beat Mejia.
How is their offensive line?
That's the question.
Is it young?
To me, I know they're replacing, I think, 2 or 3 pieces on the offensive line, and then, of course, they lose Bryson Washington. Now, Jaden Jackson's going to step in and be just fine.
Yeah.
But they are going to be different. I would not be surprised if they threw the ball a little bit more. One of the issues, one of the problems with kind of installing them as the favorite to win a third straight title, which they're certainly capable of doing, they're the number 1 team in the state, is they will go through what is, in my opinion, not debatably the best region in 3A Division 1.
Yes.
They'll have to get through at some point. They will have to deal with Columbus,
Lorena,
Hitchcock, Lorena
in their own district,
Cameron Yo. They were, depending on what you think of a team like Anahuac, we haven't seen them get on the field yet. This is Hallettsville, who got a big win over Shiner in Week 1.
Yeah, that's Murderers Row in Region 3.
That is the deepest region in 3A Division 1. And that's before you talk about playing a team like Brock in a title game or a team like Grandview or Malakoff or Winsboro.
Which is funny because the Power Nexus forever was in Region 2, but I think it's shifted over to Region 3.
No, it's Region 3, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And they are going to be the team to beat. Region 3 is going to be the region to beat. Now, it only takes one, and it may end up being that Brock's the best team in 3A Division 1, right? Or Grandview Malakoff, they play this week. But this is going to be a challenge for Mark Fannin and company, and I think he knows that. This is a challenge because, A, you've got the target on you, and B, you are replacing a lot of different pieces in C, the toughest region in the class.
Yeah, it'll be telling to see how much that offensive line grows up, because anytime in a slot T team that you lose 3 or 4 offensive linemen, it just takes a little bit, because that's got to be one of the most key position out of everything that they do.
Absolutely agree. All right, what's next, Pickle?
Shout out Region 4. How do you feel about the Navasota Rattlers in 2023?
Well, I'm confident they'll continue to field a team. So Week 1 did not go awesome for them. Now, part of that is that they were playing a particularly I thought they had a tough challenge. I'm playing on the road at Geronimo Navarro to open. But they get beat pretty soundly. They are... Part of me would say, you look at their schedule, and this week they play Madisonville. That will not be fun. And then they play Belleville before they'll play a team. Probably the first time they'll be favored this year, or be the team to beat is Week 4 against Huffman Hargrave. And you would say, oh well, that's gonna challenge them. That's gonna get them prepared. And that's true, but their district is brutal. Let's remember they're in the El Campo, Bay City, Iowa Colony, Needville, Stafford district. That is a brutal district. Now, they are better. I'm confident in saying that Casey Dacus' squad is better than they showed in week 1. Part of that, I think, is that they're playing a good Geronimo Navarro team that I don't think there's any shame in losing to them. I would have liked to see them put up a little bit more of a fight, but they bring back 16 starters from last year's team. I know they're a believer in this quarterback, Hudson Minor. And then they've got a couple playmakers on the defensive side like Frank Kedrick Powell. It's going to take some growing up, and they need to grow up in a hurry.
Yeah, because that whole
before they get to district, because there's only 4 spots, and right now, I count. If you count Navasota as a playoff caliber team, I count 6 playoff caliber teams.
Yep.
In Iowa Colony, Bay City, Needville, Stafford, El Campo, and Navasota.
Yeah.
So they need to grow up in a hurry. It's a chore, but they'll need to pull off a couple of not upsets, but they'll need to grow up certainly over the course of the next few weeks if they're going to make it to the playoffs. So there's some Navasota Rattler talk. What's next, Pickle?
What are your thoughts on Falls City and Poth? Which I just have so many thoughts on Falls City. I think I have thoughts on Falls City, and then they changed my thoughts, and now we're back to the original thoughts, and we're snip-snapping a lot here.
Falls City and Poth is the...
I think Poth's got to be your favorite out of the gate.
Bunch of big Polish energy in this game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, isn't it the Polish Bowl?
I don't remember if this is the Polish Bowl or if there's a different Falls City game that's the Polish Bowl. This might be the Polish Bowl. I apologize for not having that up at my fingertips. So both these teams entered it kind of coming off of disparate week 1 performances. For Poth, we didn't talk about this, but they lose their opener to Blanco, and 27-23.
That's punching up.
And it is it?
Yeah, Poth is 382 and Blanco's 381, aren't they?
Yeah, so it's you're right, 381. It is punching up a division. You're right. So it is punching up. And Blanco, I think, is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some red flags out of that game.
Okay.
And I don't want to go crazy here, but I've got some red flags out of that game because I would have liked for Poth to show a little bit more of the offensive firepower that we saw last year, because this is a Poth offense that is replacing a lot of their key pieces. You remember last year they were so reliant on basically 2 guys. It was Zane Robbie and it was Matthew Bunn.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those 2 guys? It was just run with those 2 guys. They're replacing both of them. Still got guys I like, Gabriel Solansky, Luke Rogers up front, Aiden De Hoyos, but they're going to be different. And the early returns are that there was some scuffling offensively. That is troublesome when you consider that now, the schedule doesn't get a whole lot easier. They take on Falls City this week. Now, Falls City is a smaller team. They should have the advantage physically in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is going to be their advantage, is that they should be the bigger team, and they should probably come away with the win. Falls City is coming off of a good win in week 1. They took down 3 Rivers, which is a nice win. Nothing to turn your nose up at. And the offense really, really opened up. This is, to me, an early litmus test for where the Poth offense is.
Mm-hmm.
They should, against a 2A team, 2A-2, by the way, they should be able to move the ball. And by the way, it would probably help if they could slow down guys like Braylon Johnson and company.
Yeah.
But I like Poth. I just think that the gap in enrollment's too big. What is that gap in enrollment? That feels knowable. I don't know if I'm
Poth in just sheer size, like human body size, I think is the reason.
Bigger.
Yeah. They always are.
So, I like Poth. I think they bounce back and get a win. But if they don't, and if this game is a real like, if this game particularly is a real struggle to move the ball offensively, I'm going to start worrying about the Pirates.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. All right. We got one more?
Yeah. What was the biggest lesson that Pickle and Mallory learned from the first Texas football tonight?
Oh, a Pickle question.
Yeah. Huh.
While you're thinking, can I vamp for a moment?
Yeah.
And tell you that in just talking with you and doing like post-game with you on it, not post-game show, but like just like
yes,
the post-mortem of the show, I think one of the things that you learned is that your team, while you trusted them, they're even more capable than you thought they would be.
Yeah.
This early in the process.
Yes, especially because again we're we're using a team that I had not met before because we're using so many students, and it's great, and it's for an internship, and I have complete faith in the UNT students. But when I don't necessarily, like, I didn't know what to expect from my personal standpoint, it's hard to expect anything from them when I didn't really know what I was doing. I think the biggest lesson that I took out of this in like a really positive way was a real good reminder that if you prepare correctly, and I know that sounds like sports talk, but it's really true. If you take the time to think about everything thoroughly and really, really prep yourself, good things will come out of it. And I feel like that's just kind of a life lesson for a lot of different things, but that was a very good reminder of when you really take the time to cover all your bases, do all the prep work, when you get there, all the work that you put into it will show through. And so that was, I think that's the biggest lesson that I took after this, is like, even if you're going into a situation that you don't necessarily know how it's going to turn out in the long run, if you've done everything you can beforehand, then you feel really good at the end of going, hey, there were some small bumps in the road, but there was nothing that we hadn't thought about. So that was probably my biggest lesson, is remember to take prep work seriously, and it will pay dividends in the end.
I think that's wise words. Wise words. And here's the great news. You guys have one show in the books. So week 2, which is, by the way, coming up tonight, 7:30 p.m. on TexanLive.com and YouTube. Week 2 will be perfect. No problems.
Absolutely no technical issues.
It'll be exactly perfect. Exactly like Flat John. So, Dave Campbell's Texan Live tonight. It's Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, 7:30 to 10. Live whip-around coverage of banger after banger around the state. Our slate is ridiculous, as announced on WTF yesterday. So, very, very exciting. So, make sure you go check out our friends at Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. I promise you, I think it's the best high school football viewing experience out there. So,
it's fun.
Very fun. So
it's
go
a
check
lot
it
of
out.
fun.
And by the way, it's Nick Lalpius and
Ishmael Johnson. Yeah, back again, the two of them. We've got a ton of different features coming up. Some sit down with Gary Joseph's head coach, Katie's head coach Gary Joseph. And then quite a few other ones, a sit-down with Robbie Jones, the new Alito head coach. So a ton of that with just constant wall-to-wall coverage all night long. So come quad box it with us, and we'll have a party.
We will certainly have a party. TexanLive.com or YouTube tonight at 7:30 p.m. That is Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.